hey, Dallas Goedert had 6 catches on 7 targets. Come on, that is much better than 0 for 1, just 1 target. Man, he must have had, 60, 70 yards, maybe a touchdown? 22 yards. What are we doing, Eagles? Like, what's going on? I mean, listen.
Yeah.
8.2 fantasy points for Dallas Goedert is better than the goose egg you got last week. And listen, 8.2 fantasy points last week, you would have been like, great. From my tight end, I made out okay, like here. But
Yeah.
this is the second week in a row now. This Eagles offense is winning football games, and they're not performing like they are. Like, it doesn't feel as though they are winning a football game, but they are. They're winning the games. This offense is not performing like the high-powered offense that we initially thought. I mean, I'll open it to you if you have any last comments on Dallas Goedert before I jump into just the rest of this offense, because it's just strange.
We do need to talk about the whole Eagles offense because it does feel off. And honestly, thank God for their defense because it really has saved them. Jalen Hurts does not look as sharp. He does not look as confident as he was last year. He does not look like the MVP runner-up. My bet was that Jalen Hurts was going to be MVP this year. Now, there's still so much football left to play, and they can turn it around. But this does not feel like the high-powered offense that dominated the NFL. I'm not worried, but I am confused. So, just to close out with Goddard, yeah, I'm satisfied with 8.2 points as long as I don't look at the yards total because that is very concerning to me. I have higher expectations for Goddard as well, so I can make out with this week feeling like my tight end did fine, and I'm not going to blame my tight end for the loss. But Goddard, you and I both have high expectations for Goddard, but the rest of this team, outside of the Slim Reaper, Devonta Smith, who I love, you know, he was in my top 10. I'm stoked about him. He's proven that he's worth that second, third round pick that we drafted him for. But you know who's not is A.J. Brown. This is 2 weeks in a row where he's sub 15. This is less than
doing
7.
What you want. Last week it was okay. Last week, you got 14 points, and you were like, yeah, all right. It felt like a weird game there in Foxborough, and they'll bounce back. Mike Evans just had a 19-point game against the Vikings. They'll bounce back. Baker did good. 6.9 fantasy points, and he was not happy about it. We saw.
No.
Listen, and I'll say this. I think he was being a little selfish. Listen, you're ground and pounding the ball. You're up 2 scores. I understand you're in the situation here in which you're like, hey, I'm the number 1 guy. Like I'm Hurts' dude. Like, what's going on here? Like, let's figure this out. And then, we see the footage of them getting a little heated on the sideline, and then it's like 3 straight plays to A.J. Brown, and it's like, well, those didn't succeed. So I think we see why maybe we are going elsewhere today.
Yeah,
I'm not panicking. I'm not. I think Nick Sirianni's probably kind of pissed off about this offensive performance. I mean, I don't think Nick Sirianni signed up for giving DeAndre Swift the ball 31 times on Thursday night.
That is
I
insane.
think this is
just say that again real quick.
Yeah, DeAndre Swift had 31 touches on Thursday Night Football, you guys.
What in the world?
181 total yards and a touchdown. Okay, here. What? All right. Yep.
As many touches as Kirk Cousins had completions.
Yeah.
What in the world?
It's pretty ridiculous. Listen, like you said, I'm not panicking, but I'm definitely going to be watching very close in week 3 because
yes,
I'm not sure what's going on here. Listen, the Eagles play the Buccaneers in week 3. We've seen now this Vikings pass offense do really good work against them. So maybe we'll get something good here in week 3 and we'll be in a good spot. Hey, maybe after week 3 we'll be going, hey, maybe it's the time to trade high because this thing still didn't look very good, but we got some good performances. You never know. We're just going to have to wait and see.
Yeah.
A.J. Brown, 6.9 points. Like you said, Slim Reaper, Devonta Smith, awesome game. 4 catches on 5 targets, 131 yards and a touchdown. seemed like these guys almost had reverse roles. It seemed like last year A.J. Brown was the deep ball guy and Devontae Smith made out as the deep ball guy on Thursday night. So something worth monitoring there.
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts,
I just wanna,
27 points. Go for it, yeah.
I just want to say that this is something that was starting to be thrown around in camp between who was actually going to be the number one wideout. Not because A.J. Brown wasn't that good, but because Devonta Smith was making that kind of a leap every single day. So that's part of my reason why I was very high on Devonta Smith. I love year 3 wide receivers, but I am a little confused about A.J. Brown's lack of use. 6 targets is fine, but that is, I mean, Justin Jefferson had 13 targets. That's what A.J. Brown should be getting. A.J. Brown, you traded for A.J. Brown and you got to the Super Bowl that same year. He should be getting more. Now, let's not forget that he did have a touchdown and they called it back off of a penalty.
Right.
But it just seems like that what the expectations were going into the season, what we were hearing out of camp, and just the sharpness of Jalen Hurts. Let me ask you this question, and then we'll close this portion here on the Eagles team. How much do you think Shane Steichen had to do with this Eagles offense? How much of it do you think is actually the play calling?
I think the play calling plays a role. I think there's something else that plays a role as well. And that is Jalen Hurts got a big bag of money this offseason. Last year, I was seeing Jalen Hurts lower his shoulder at the end of runs. Over the past 2 weeks, I've been seeing Jalen Hurts go down on his own before he gets hit on some of these runs. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that has anything to do with it or if it is the play calling. I think play calling does play into it. Obviously, this is a first-year play caller, and Brian Johnson, Shane Steichen, and Anthony Richardson looking like Jalen Hurts in his first game.
They're looking good.
It's definitely something worth. It's something. Listen, my panic meter. Listen, I'm probably at on a panic level. I'm at like a 4 out of 10. If we watch next week and I'm like, what's going on here? It's more of the same. I'm going to probably get up to like a 7 or an 8. Like this is going to be something I'm really concerned about. But for now, I think there are multiple. I don't know. I don't know if I'm just trying to reason with things for myself, I guess. For last week was weird because it was in the rain in Foxborough and it was Bill Belichick, and this week I'm like, yeah, well, it's not the usual offense because DeAndre Swift ran the ball 28 times. They don't usually do that. At a certain point, we have to stop making excuses. So that's what I'm going to be watching for next week with this Eagles offense, because one person's getting it done, but it is not 3 people getting it done like it was last year with A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and Dallas Goedert. So
that is such a good point on the bag. The check Jalen Hurts got.
Did you see it as well?
Oh, I noticed it, and I was very confused.
I thought I was seeing it last week, and I was like, that was
like a fetal position.
Maybe it was the rain. He doesn't want to get like a non-contact injury, trying to cut through or something like that, like whatever. And then Thursday night, it's like, what? Like I understand. I don't
playing soft.
I mean, I know that's a massive D tackle and a linebacker that are about to tackle you. But he's like trying to do like a juke behind the line of scrimmage, and then he just kind of like falls down. Like he's like, yeah, no, I'm good. It's just not the same guy who's playing. It didn't look like. So we got to
watch for that next week.
Yeah, we got to see what's going on here. Hopefully we get a bounce back next week.